Alright guys, time to go a bit back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Monday so far, and today we're going to talk about fines once again in the CDL. We've seen over the last several months that pros have certainly had their frustrations with Modern Warfare on the whole, but also the handling of it from the CDL side. The CDL and Activision Blizzard have been dishing out fines left, right and centre to these players for saying certain things, and it really has got to the point where pros feel, well, fearful to actually share their opinion on Modern Warfare and their opinions on the game more widely due to, well, fears of getting fined, which isn't really a great environment to set when we want to try and help the league and the game improve going forward, right? Because if you're not, well, open to criticism in this sense, then it's going to be very difficult for us to actually have a very competitive Call of Duty title, which is, well, the ideal situation to try and mesh the competitive and the casual communities over coming years. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new as always. This came out from Scump then a while ago. I'll share a couple of seconds of this on screen in a couple of seconds here, but basically the Huntsman guys did a Call of Duty tier rankings list a while ago, and Scump said in that video that he believes, for competitive at least, Modern Warfare is the worst Call of Duty game of all time. Then he went on the Eavesdrop podcast a little bit later and said that he actually did get fined for this one, and Scump was kind of concerned to say anything on the Eavesdrop podcast just in case he got fined once again, and we've seen this happen many a time over the course of it, and well, as we'll look in a few minutes time here, Attach saying a very similar thing.
So, for those who don't know, you got fined. I guess nobody knew what you got yesterday during the Huntsman show.
I mean, people that know.
Right in the trash.
This?
Oh, if Warzone didn't come out in this game, one of the worst CODs ever made.
Really?
It might be the worst competitive COD ever. No bullshit.
Really?
So bad.
Yeah, and I spoke honestly, and I mean, I'm not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed, do you feel like you're not allowed to speak honestly about the game?
Obviously, I got fined for it.
So the main person to be talking about here, really, apart from Scump, is probably Octane, right? Over the course of the season, we've seen a lot of complaints regarding the CDL, not necessarily Modern Warfare, but this was really to do with their, well, when Seattle had that replay decision that went against them, when Slack lagged out of the game, they didn't get a replay. It's happened since then as well to other teams like the Chicago Huntsmen, when Pristini lagged out in that Toronto Ultra series. This tweet is actually still alive. Find me, I don't care. Competitive integrity is non-existent. And these were some other ones that I went back and got as well. This league is horrible, literally an abomination. Literally our most important series of the year we can't play because the Call of Duty League decided they can't replay a tied hardpoint. This league sucks. And well, these didn't look so good for his bank account, right, I imagine. And he did then talk about when he did the follow-up video when he said, like, you know, let's talk about the Call of Duty League. He was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't go too far and I'm just going to try and, like, ease off a little bit because otherwise the bank account isn't looking so pretty. Competitive integrity strikes again. $400 million league, by the way. 4v5, no replay, sick joke. Try and find me CDL, etc., etc. And then even Apathy comes out with the following, and I don't know if there was any consequences of this, but I'd imagine it was probably a similar situation to what Octane has experienced as well. And this, of course, was the the video that he then released a few days later. Now, I imagine Octane and Scump's situation is relatively similar here, even though Octane's really talking about the CDL, Scump's talking about Modern Warfare more widely. I imagine it's a relatively similar situation. Of course, you can understand that he doesn't look good from the perspective of the CDL. The likes of Scump, your most prized asset really in the Call of Duty community, talking about how the game is like the worst one ever for competitive play, doesn't really look good, doesn't necessarily attract players, or doesn't necessarily attract like new fans potentially to the scene to get involved and actually watch this year's Call of Duty if the most prized player effectively is saying, like, you know, it doesn't really matter, it's all online, or, you know, whatever, talking about issues within the game. And then Octane and Co saying the similar thing. However, from my perspective, there is a degree to which this riles up drama, this riles up, eyes on the scene when pro players talk like this. And to be honest, there may be even more viewership in the streams, the fact that Octane has called this stuff out, because people are looking and watching the streams for when the next great drama is going to appear, right? Not necessarily watching it for the competitive integrity, but watching it because they know a drama is around the corner, given the way the Call of Duty League has been run. So it's not necessarily a downside to the CDL in one sense, you could argue, having this drama and this kind of criticism come out. The problem is really when it gets to the point where players feel, concerned to give their actual true opinion. And this is really where it kicked off yesterday from Credit City Intel talking about Attach. He made a video doing a tier rankings of all the Call of Duty list. You can see right here with Black Ops 2 up top. I'll play this clip for you guys on screen, but he comes to ranking Modern Warfare, and he's kind of concerned about where to put it just in case he gets fined, right? Which really isn't the situation we want to appear in.
You know, Warfare was actually pretty fun for competitive, but it was still like a basic game. But I'll give it a C. I'll put it in front of World at War. Modern Warfare. Okay. It's really good. I'm down to play it for another season. I think we should have 2 seasons of Modern Warfare. But for now, I will put it be smart about this. C? Yeah, okay, I'll put it in C for now. I'd still really enjoy this game.
So this is a screenshot from when he was placing it, and he eventually puts it in the C tier, but he's kind of concerned, like, you know, if I put it too low, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to get anything wrong, right? Because Scump got fined for saying what he said. Would attach get, you know, sorted for something like this? Of course, he's saying, like, you know, I've got to be careful not to get fined, right? Which isn't really what we want to see. Like, maybe he does genuinely believe it's C tier. Maybe he believes it would have been worse. Like, you know, maybe if he didn't have to worry about any of this stuff, he'd have put it lower down. And that's really not the ideal situation, because I think certainly in an ideal world, we're in the position where the pros can openly talk about the issues within the game. And, like, let's not say they always go about this the right way, right? But then again, we've heard a lot of players talking about JCap especially, and Clayster earlier in the season, saying that the channels to communicate with the developers really just don't exist in this game, right? And that really causes issues, because yes, the professional players should go down the official channels through Activision, through the CDL, to Infinity Wards to get the issues like the spawns, etc. that they want to get fixed. But, well, if that doesn't indeed happen, then they end up just complaining on Twitter, which is, you know, you can't almost blame them to some degree, given it's their job to play this game 10 hours a day, day in, day out, and well, try and do their best to become the best player they can possibly be. If the game isn't designed for competitive integrity, and there's issues with it, and as we've talked about the entire season long, the glitches most recently that have just been fixed, many more issues that we've had a discussion about the entire season, that's certainly going to be very frustrating indeed, and not just the game, of course, as what Octane's talked about with the league more widely, and it does kind of look like they're cutting down on this dissent, which, yeah, maybe doesn't set the best precedent, right, when other games are kind of free to criticize in that sense, and you don't want this to develop to the point where none of the pros can say anything about the game, and well, I doubt that'll happen in the Call of Duty community. We tend to stand up for ourselves, which, you know, I definitely appreciate. We then get this from Scump as well. So this clip comes out from Hector a few days ago, and so they're talking about the new Halo game and the amount of money that might be involved with, of course, Maniac now back on the team, and Scump is talking about, well, you know, of course he got fined in the past for a similar thing as we looked at. He then has this to say on Modern Warfare, basically.
How much money is in it then, in the Halo?
7 million, I think.
7 million? Be serious.
Wait, then that's probably why Shotzi was talking about leaving. I'd be out too. I mean,
What, as far as
I
prize
love
money?
COD.
So yeah, I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff down in the comment section below. This is another couple of tweets we'll go through before we finish off the video. This from Octane: I'd get fined into another dimension if I started a podcast and talked about, well, the online stuff that was going on that was affecting a lot of teams. We also get this from Maven as well, which is kind of funny, on the 25th of July. We'll talk about exactly what the reason is for this in a second. But Maven says, you want to cover my fine too when you submit your payment. You know, he is looking for an answer. What did I miss? My mic was left hot for an entire break, so I don't think I was watching the stream at the time. But you guys might remember this if you were watching it. You know, he had some F-bombs during the break or whatever, because it looked like he was muted, even from the perspective of the people who were, like, you know, running the stream. It looked like he was muted in the software, but for some reason he was still live on a hot mic or whatever, as they describe it, when you don't realize that you're being broadcast to the public. And yeah, it wasn't ideal. Maven then does reply to this: I'm not getting fined. It's 100% on the production team. You know, some sort of weird tech issue, as it looked like I was muted in the program. Pretty funny stuff. But even for something as nondescript as this, there was like the potential, right, that potentially a fine could be following, right? And well, it's surprising that guys like Merk and other casters talk about on stream how, like, they don't know what's going on. Like, well, what the hell is this spawn? I don't understand it. And well, you got to kind of worry that maybe the CDL is going to step in at some point and say, look, this is you know, taken away from the prestige that our game has. But you could say in Modern Warfare right now, it's pretty hard to draw a line like that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see you next time.
Top bar, top
Yeah,
bar,
we go
top
top
bar.
bar from old.
He's top bar.
Top P2 dead.
Assault, top bar.
One's blue dome. Blue court.
8 on, 8 on, 8 on, 8 on.
Yeah, he ran out. He ran out the back. Oh, front bar, river. He's running back. He's running back.
Back bar, one shot assault.
He flanked me top blue. How does
Top blue,
that
top
happen?
He's top bar, one
You
shot.
see, jumped out back window. Jumped out back window. Which one bar? Which one bar? I can kill this guy top bar.
Dead.
Damn time. Dead.
I'm pushing out.
He smoked out cross.
Oh, my bad.
Low bar,
No, I got it.